Out of sheer boredom, I decided to watch The Jungle Cruise, starring Dwayne the Dwayne Dwayneson as Skipper Frank and Emily Blunt as the intrepid explorer Lily. The Jungle Cruise is exactly what I expect for a movie trying to replicate the magic of Pirates of the Caribbean without any of the charms. The Jungle Cruise, much like the aforementioned Pirates of the Caribbean, is based on the Disneyland ride of the same name. I've been to Disneyland twice in my life, and both times I rode the Jungle Cruise ride, and I watched the first episode of that defunct land ripoff Disney made for Disney Plus, so I guess you could say I'm an expert on the subject. The Jungle Cruise ride can be made or broken depending entirely on which cast member you have acting as your skipper. Some buy into the Disney magic and give you the best performance they can with the pun-filled script about animals that don't actually live in the jungle. Others, on the other hand, memorize the script in the same way a McDonald's employee memorizes the price of a Big Mac, unenthusiastically and for minimum wage. To this extent, I really have to praise The Rock for supplying an authentic amount of disappointment with his performance. It's like I actually got onto the ride after waiting in line for over an hour and got shuffled onto the boat run by Skipper Linda, whose father just died and Disney didn't give the day off so she could attend the funeral. The most memorable part about Emily Blunt's character, on the other hand, was that she wore pants. They really hammered that in.
How you doing, Pants?
Speaking of, the film really does lean heavily into the misogyny present in 1916 and how it affects Emily Blunt's opportunities as an explorer and a literal doctor because of her being a woman, which I really do have to commend it on. The film also lightly touches on homophobia through Emily Blunt's forgettable brother and one easily removable scene for foreign audiences. But you know what it doesn't touch on? Despite starring a half Samoan, half black headlining star, if you can't guess the answer, it's racism. In the film, Dwayne is down on his luck and out of money, and I 100% believe that Paul Giamatti's character would have called him the N-word given the time and place of the setting. I can't believe we live in a society where it's okay to point out that sexism is bad in a Disney film, but God forbid we acknowledge racism is bad. Old Dwayne Boy's character even leans into racism himself by paying a native tribe to pretend to be a depiction of themselves so offensive that Disney removed it from the actual ride. I guess it does make sense as to why nobody was racist to Dwayne. After all, he's not a 6'5" half-black Samoan man. He's a 6'5", 400-year-old Spanish conquistador that speaks with an American accent. The twist ultimately reveals itself not because The Rock survives getting stabbed, but because he gets stabbed in the first place. We all know it's in Dwayne Johnson's contract that his characters aren't allowed to fail. Him and Vin Diesel literally get punched an equal amount of times in every Fast and Furious movie they're both in. It's why there's no tension in the movie and why the twist doesn't really work with its current execution. Oh, and the villains were so forgettable, I forgot they existed for a good chunk of the movie until, oh yeah, there's a fucking submarine traversing the river. Time to forget about them again. Whoops. Anyways, watch the movie if you want to relive the worst day of Skipper Linda's life. 5 out of 10.